Hey, what's going on, you guys? It's your man James, aka JP, back again with the toy room, and today is very, very exciting. As you can see, well, kind of, I know my table's a little short, I'm just working with what I have right here, but we have the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, if you guys saw the last video, this is my cousin's Nintendo Switch 2. Mine is not coming in the mail until next week, unfortunately, but I did pick up Mario Kart World and the Pro Controller 2 this morning at Target, so I'm very, very excited to dive into that. If you guys are long subscribers of the channel, you may realize that I'm at a different angle right now, and that's because I've completely overhauled the room, and you guys are getting a little bit of a sneak peek right now. Room tour, updated room tour coming soon in the next couple days here. But I'm very, very excited. So what we're going to do is switch the camera angle around and do a quick unboxing and first impressions of everything that we have here. I haven't got a chance to look at any of this yet, so I'm very, very excited to do that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into unboxing the Nintendo Switch 2. Alright, you guys, so here we are with all the products. We're going to go through them all very quickly. I want to start here with this little promo item that I got from Target, and it's a Nintendo Switch 2 checklist, and it basically just has a list of all the different accessories and games that are available, which is pretty cool. And then if you flip it to the other side, it has like all the details about the Switch 2, so that's really cool. I just thought it was a cool little promo piece to save as like a piece of history. Unfortunately, it's a little dinged up over here, but there was just one laying around, so I just had to go ahead and take it. I have no idea where it came from. Even with me working at Target, I have no idea where this even came from, but yeah, I got that. And then going to go ahead and look at Mario Kart World right here. Get that out of the reflections there. So that's what the case is looking like. I really like this artwork. It is pretty cool. I'm just trying to get the reflections off of it. And coming to the back here, that is what that looks like. So we're going to go ahead and just unbox this live. Slice that open. Get the plastic off. And throw that to the side. And then here we go. Let's go ahead and crack this open for the very first time. Alright, so couple interesting things that I'm noticing right off the bat, as you can see here. The cases are red, which, like, I guess I kind of assumed that just by like the exterior of the case. But I do wish that they were kind of clear on the inside, because you do get this reversible cover, as you can see here, but it is kind of hard to make out what's on that reversible cover with having a red case. That looks so much better not hidden behind the red case right there. So really cool artwork. It almost looks like Polaroid pictures, snapshots of like different races and stuff. So that is really cool. But again, it's kind of, you know, hidden a little bit behind this red case, as you can see here. So I don't know if that's something, they're probably not going to change that going forward. I'm sure all the cases will be red, but it would be nice to see clear on the inside, or just maybe the entire case is clear, but then you just have like the actual artwork, you know, with the red borders and whatnot. Yeah, I think I just prefer the clear case so you can see the artwork. Anyways, getting into the actual cartridge itself, let's go ahead and take a look at that. There we go. So there's the cartridge, and the cartridges are now red as well instead of black. They feel pretty identical to Switch cartridges, like the Switch 1 cartridges, to be honest with you, but they are red. I do think the pins are a little bit longer, or that could just be my imagination, but that's kind of what it seems like. But there you go. Still your same old Switch cartridge, just done in a new color. So that is Mario Kart World. It would have been nice to see some booklet or something. You have the stuff here for it built into the case. You might as well give us something, right? But you know, it is what it is, bare bones packaging, but I do really like the artwork for this, so that's really cool. And then moving up next, we're going to do the Pro Controller, which I'm actually kind of the most interested about, just to see if it was worth the upgrade or not. From all of the reviews that I've been seeing with people who had hands-on with this early, they have said that it is a pretty different feel and a pretty drastic improvement in the joysticks compared to the Switch 1 controller. So let's see if we can get this open. There we go, without damaging anything. So, yeah, we'll see here in a second. Just kind of, oh, it's kind of stuck. Let's see, hold on. It is, like, stuck in here. There we go. Okay, so get the box out of the way. Looks like it does come with a Nintendo branded USB-C charging cable. Nothing too special about that. And then here is the actual Pro Controller itself. So, alright, wow, so I mean, immediately it does feel different because of that matte finish, and it's like very smooth to the touch, and it's kind of satisfying, to be honest with you. Now, I'm not a big fan of like the white top. I just think it's a little weird. I don't mind so much the white underneath the joysticks, but I'm not a big fan of the white top. I would have liked to have seen it stay black, really, or maybe like the colors of the actual like Switch with the blue and orange or blue and red, whatever that is. But other than that, it feels pretty decent in hand. Oh, wow. Yeah, these, holy moly. Yeah, these joysticks are like super smooth. They definitely feel like way different. Let me go grab my my Switch 1 Pro Controller to kind of give you a comparison. Alright, so here is the Switch 1. You can see it always had this like translucent like black section going on in the middle, which I always liked. I'm a sucker for translucent, so anytime you can see like the internals is really cool. But here is a side-by-side comparison. So this is Switch 1, this is Switch 2. As you guys can see, I'm just trying to get all this correctly in frame. There you go. So, yeah, man, it's really hard to explain just how much smoother these analog sticks feel. Like, a very noticeable difference compared to the Switch 1. Like, the Switch 1, it almost feels like cheap. Like, this feels like very premium. I'm just gonna press the rest of the buttons here, get a feel for those, and immediately these buttons do feel a little bit bigger, and just by looking at them I can tell they are bigger. These are more clicky on the Switch 1, and this is the Switch 2. Just a little bit more quiet. The triggers, they actually feel identical, but just everything about this having that matte finish just gives it a very high-end premium feel. And just the way everything feels, especially these analog sticks. I mean, these are like super smooth. Like just the way that they glide and the way that they like bounce back and stuff, the springiness of them. Wow, yeah, this is a big improvement. It just feels newer. And just looking at my Pro Controller, my original Pro Controller here, it's seen a lot of wear and tear. I don't know how well you can see it on camera, but I've had this thing for like years, so you know, it was time for an upgrade, and I do feel like this is actually like a pretty solid upgrade. It feels nice, feels premium, I guess is the best way I can describe it. It feels very premium, where this one, it was a very good controller and it was comfortable and everything, but I wouldn't say it necessarily felt premium. It just felt like, you know, another controller. So this one actually feels premium, everything down to the touch, the buttons. Yeah, so very happy about that. So let's get that all to the side. And I guess this is the reason we're all here, right? The Nintendo Switch 2. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. It doesn't look like there's any tape, so we just go ahead and slide this flap up, and presumably, oh, actually, you know what, before I even open that, here is the box. I'm sure you guys have all seen it before, and this is the bundle with Mario Kart included. But the one that I chose to get for myself, like I said, this is my cousin's Switch. The one that I got for myself, I got the standard version that is not the bundle, since obviously I wanted to get a physical copy of Mario Kart. I did not opt to get the bundle, even though it was a better deal. Just me being a physical game collector, as you guys can see with all the games right back there, that's what I opted to get. Okay, here we are, and right off the bat, I will say, it feels very identical. Just everything, like the packaging here, feels very identical to the Switch 1. The unboxing experience feels very identical to the Switch 1. Doesn't feel like there's too much different, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just, it doesn't feel like a whole brand new console, if you will. Let's go ahead and get into these brand new Joy-Cons. Okay, so these have that same matte finish that the Pro Controller 2 has. Same exact finish down to, I don't know how well you guys can see on here, but it's got the same like speckles and everything in the paint. It has these little like silver flakes in the black paint, which is pretty cool. But it has the same finish that the Pro Controller has. I just want to get both Joy-Cons out so we can take a look at both of them at the same exact time. And here we are. So immediately, wow, these definitely feel a lot different than your regular Switch Joy-Cons. They feel definitely taller and almost a little bit thinner as well. So here we go, that's this one. And then I don't know if this is supposed to be red or orange. It's like a mix between the two. I'm gonna go ahead and say it's supposed to be red just because that's how the Switch 1 was, but it definitely does look a bit orange, especially on camera. It's looking a lot more orange than it does in person. But yeah, feel in the hands of these is actually a little weird, honestly. Like, I prefer the way the Switch 1 Joy-Cons feel holding it like this. It just feels a little too tall and a little too skinny, in my opinion, in this configuration. Now, I'm sure having it on the Switch is going to feel different, which we'll check in a second, but I just want to see how everything else feels. The analog sticks feel pretty much identical to how the Switch 1 analog sticks feel. They may be a little bit bigger, and then button-wise, these feel like a little bit softer to the press compared to the Switch 1, like there's not as much clickiness. And then coming over here, joystick's going to be exactly the same. These buttons kind of feel just like I was mentioning. They're a little bit more clicky than the original Switch. The start button or the plus button and the minus button, they don't feel as clicky as the original Switch. And then triggers feel pretty much identical. Home button feels less clicky than the original Switch. And here's that new chat button. And that feels pretty much on par with the rest of the buttons here. And then here are the new inside triggers here. It's been forever since I used the original Switch, so I don't remember how they feel, but they are noticeably bigger, so playing games like this is going to be way more comfortable for sure. So we'll put the Joy-Cons to the side, and now we'll get into the actual Switch right here. So let's take a look at this. Okay, so right off the bat, it's definitely way bigger than the original Switch. Now the bezels are still atrocious, as I can see here. I'm not going to turn it on in this video. I'm saving that for my cousin to do. But here is the Nintendo Switch 2. So again, still has that matte finish, same as the Pro Controller, same as the Joy-Cons. And then you have your power button right up here, your volume button, and then your game card slot. Now I'm interested to see what this game card slot feels like. Interesting. So it's definitely different than the Switch. It like pulls up. Interesting. So okay. So my biggest complaint with the Switch 1 was the game cartridge slot would, like, as soon as you opened it, it was basically loose for the rest of the Switch's life cycle. It seems like they solved that problem by having this mechanism of the game card slot actually like sliding up on a rail, so that when you go ahead and close it, it actually like slots in place properly. So you should be able to avoid that problem with the Switch 1 just by having this little rail mechanism. So that is pretty cool right there. USB-C, headphone jack, speakers, fans, all the normal stuff. Same on the bottom, you got speakers and fans and another USB-C port right there. And then let's take a look at this kickstand. Oh wow, okay, so this kickstand feels very nice, very tight. It bends, I'm not even showing you guys, but it bends all the way down. So very, very tight, very sturdy, very premium feeling, I will say. Now, before we dive into the rest of this, let me just kind of move this out of the way real quick. And let's see how the Joy-Cons magnetically connect to the Switch. And this is my first time doing it, so I have no idea. But you just go ahead and line up, you know, the color with the color. And, oh wow. Wow, that is very satisfying. So it literally just magnetizes in place. You just line everything up, and it is secure. So let's see how this feels. It doesn't feel like wobbly, like there's a little bit of flex to it, but a lot less than the original Switch for sure. And just for anybody who's worried about it, I'm holding it by the Joy-Con right now, as you guys can see there, and it's not coming out, so it's a pretty strong magnet. So we're going to go ahead and release the magnet with this little lever right here on the back. So we're just going to press, oh, okay. So that I wasn't ready for. So you just press this right here and pull out towards you. And there you go. So it has a little, let's see if we can focus here. There you go. So it has a little mechanism right there that releases the Joy-Con from the body of the Switch. So it goes on, it feels really, really satisfying, and it snaps in place. It really feels like it's on there. And then taking it off, you're gonna want to make sure you're pretty much holding the Switch like this, and then you press that button and pull out to the side, because I almost dropped it that first time. So that feels really, really nice. And wow, yeah, holding the Switch in hand, You can tell this is a beefy boy. I don't mean beefy and thick. It's big. It's got a very, very nice big screen here. And it does feel good in the hand. Like the Joy-Cons feel fine. They feel perfect in this mode. But playing with them separately, they felt a little odd to me. But yeah, in this mode, definitely, it feels very nice and very ergonomic. So that is that. We're going to take the Switch 2 and just put that to the side and see what else comes in the box, which I'm sure it's really not much interesting. But what do we have in here? This is probably like paperwork. Let's see. Paperwork, HDMI cable, and the wrist straps for the Joy-Cons, which we don't really care about. I'm not going to go through all of that. So we'll put that to the side. What else do we have? We have a power brick. So this is noticeably smaller than the original Switch. This is like, I mean, it's beefy, it's big, it's thick, it's heavy. But I think this is a 60 watt. Don't quote me on that. I don't know if it says it on here anywhere. Yeah, it's a 60 watt power brick. It says it on here. So this thing should be able to charge your Switch relatively quickly, and it's pretty small, pretty compact. So that is pretty nice. It looks like we also have, ooh, okay, so we have the dog bone accessory for the Joy-Con. So let me get those off so we can see how that looks. And here we go. So first time connecting this, so I'm sure it's going to connect the same exact way. There you go. It is a little weird though getting it on, because you kind of have the grip. Let me see. You kind of have the grip that's like underneath your fingers kind of getting in the way. So maybe if you just hold it by the top here, it'll be a little easier. Yeah, there you go. So it's just hold it by the top. Okay, that feels good. It feels pretty identical to the Switch 1, just a different form factor, a little bit taller, a little bit bigger. But it feels good, and it has that matte finish again, with that kind of embossed Switch 2 logo right there. And to the back is what that looks like. And then to take it off, I'm sure it's going to be the same way as the Switch. There you go. And then this side as well, release and pulls right out. Okay, so there's the dog bone. Not a huge fan of the glossiness. I feel like that's going to get dirty and scuffed up pretty easily, but we'll see how that works. They do have little like rubber feet here, I guess, to kind of keep the Joy-Cons off of the glossy section, but I would say would have just made it all in that like matte material. Man, that magnet, so satisfying, so satisfying. All right, moving on. I think the only other thing left in here is going to be the dock. So I'll move this out of the way, and we'll take a look at the dock itself and get all this out of the way. So here is the dock, again done in that matte finish with that glossy Nintendo Switch 2 logo. And then on the back, Nintendo. On the inside, it has that same glossy finish. I don't know if you guys can tell. It has the same glossy finish that the dog bone grip has. So, you know, you have that. Looks like you got a power indicator right over there. And then on the back, all of your ports and everything are covered up by that. And that's just tabbed in place with a couple tabs right there. So you have access to the USB-C, which is going to be your power, your HDMI out, and a LAN if you want to hardwire your stuff to your internet instead of doing it over Wi-Fi. So there you go, and it looks like you're just going to clip this you're going to clip it back in place. If I just line everything up, it should just click. Oh, okay, so yeah, you don't even use much force. Okay, I thought it was going to like snap. It was very subtle when it clips back in place. I thought it was going to be like a much bigger snap. But there you go. That is the Nintendo Switch 2, which if I can find the Switch over here, we're going to go ahead and just dock it. I'm not going to power it up in this video, but I do want to see how it looks when it's docked and how that docking mechanism is. So we got the dock right here. Interesting. Putting my finger in here, this glossy section right here actually feels like it's like a gel material, so hopefully that'll help with like some of the sliding and whatnot. And I wonder if the dog bone, okay, yeah, so the dog bone, it has that same kind of like gel material, I guess, to help from like vibrations and sliding around while it's loaded in here. So let's just put this in here and see. Okay, so pretty much docks exactly the same as the original Switch right there. So there we go. There is the Nintendo Switch 2, the grip, Mario Kart World right over there, and the Pro controller, which we'll just place right here because why not? So overall, I would say I'm pretty happy. Obviously, I haven't booted it up, but it just feels very premium. compared to the original Switch. The original Switch, it was fine, like there's nothing wrong with it, but it didn't feel very premium. I think this feels very premium, especially this Pro Controller. Man, these analog sticks are amazing. To be honest, it may be the best analog sticks. It's too early to tell, but they may be some of the best analog sticks on any controller ever. They just feel really, really good. But man, I can't wait. So I got to get this all set up and hooked up. So I'm going to go ahead and hit you guys with the outro and get to play Mario Kart the rest of the day. I cannot wait. Alright you guys, so there is the unboxing of the Nintendo Switch 2. I am so excited. I can't wait to get this all plugged in and set up and ready to play pretty much for the rest of the day. We're going to knock out a whole bunch of Mario Kart today, so I'm looking forward to that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with your friends. Be sure to follow me on social media. Those links are in the description down below. And I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. So as always guys, stay tuned for more, and I'll see you guys next time.